Hello everybody. This is my second attempt at this video. My internet's really wonky today. Yeah, it is what it is. Hopefully it lasts and doesn't like shut off on me. So I'm going to talk about something important that Spirit put into the energy for me to talk about. Okay? I'm going to talk about the three-eye atlas, right? Is that what it's called? I think. Let me double check its name here. Yeah, three-eye atlas is what they're calling it, and there's a lot of people talking about it, right? But the reason I'm going to talk about it is not because everybody else is talking about it. That's not it at all. Oh, see, little glitchiness, little glitchiness, little glitchiness. It's because on my channel 6 days ago I uploaded a live video of a workshop. Okay, live created flow healing release workshop, and in it three-eye atlas came through. It was as I started channeling the energy in this workshop. Let me show you where to find this workshop. Hopefully it does not glitch out on me. Okay, cross our fingers, pray to the Wi-Fi gods. This right here is it was 2 days ago. It was a live I did 2 days ago, excuse me. 6 days ago is a powerful guided healing release. So this one was the live created flow healing release alignment workshop. I talked about why I do those workshops, the significance of them, the significance of the paintings that I do in the return work. These are things I've been doing since 2019. Clearing Mount Shasta, activating pyramids, things like that, okay? And more, lots more that's hard to fathom. And I've talked a lot of times about what we're going to be going through, what's happening now, and one of them is three-eye atlas. I just didn't say a name for it. But I asked God today, because it came through in this workshop recently, right here, past live streams, live creative flow healing release alignment, new earth, I asked God about three-eye atlas. Okay, now I know if you haven't heard about it, it's like all over the internet, right? All over the internet. Three-eye atlas, the secret NASA tried to hide. Edgar Casey, this one actually caught my attention to watch, so we can watch that one in the end. And then also Stephen Burns is somebody that I also like to watch. He is a geophysicist, but he's also awake. Okay, and you see these two images of three-eye atlas and the sun? That's very important and relevant. Okay, that's very important and very relevant to what God told me about three-eye atlas. Okay, so before I tell you the details, it actually also goes with my last paintings before this last workshop. So this workshop I did for free for you guys. I usually charge them every month. We do this workshop. I skipped a month because the one before this one, I got 3 images to create. 3 images, and it deals with the end of times. Okay? What is that, and why does it have to do with three-eye atlas? Well, you don't have to believe me. But the proof is in the pudding, right? Like the proof has been here the whole time. We are in the shift of mankind. We are in the great reset of mankind. Some call it the rapture. God calls it the return of gods. Okay? In this last workshop right here, God said three-eye atlas is intentional, it's divinely guided, and it's nothing to be afraid of. That's what came through. I feel it in the energy. There should be no fear, but there's a lot of fear with it. So if you watch this, some of it has a lot of fear, right? Oh gosh, like the end times, they just push a lot of fear. Volcanoes are also very important. Okay, so why are those important? Every time I'd activate a pyramid, I would talk about volcanoes. So the last images that I got to paint were very, very, very important. Okay? This was part 1. It was the white buffalo fleeing the volcanoes. White buffalo in the land erupting of volcanoes. Fleeing the erupting land of volcanoes. That was part 1. The white buffalo fleeing the erupting land of volcanoes. The second part of the painting, which I'm almost done with part 3. The second part dealt with Kilimanjaro, which is represented through Jesus and Mary Magdalene. Why? Because I undid Mount Shasta. Kilimanjaro was part of the masculine pyramids that I activated. Okay? And then we have your golden rainbow, talks about your soul path. And then we have the water with the waterfall in the Nile, which dealt with Sekhmet and Horus. And then at the bottom you have the snake, which was Adam and Eve. So this one represents the return of light. The sun and the moon, the rainbow path, walking the rainbow path of the sun. What is the event? Do you know what the event is? I've talked about this many times. What is the event? Sorry, I have a gong playing in the background. The event is the mass amount of sun flash, okay? And it's like God shows me like the Big Bang Theory. The sun comes in and it's a sudden flash so massive that all life changes, okay? That's the final event. Happens through the sun. So what is 3i Atlas? I'm going to tell you about that. And then this is part 3 of my last paintings, which is the portal of the sun. You guys, we are in it, okay? We are in the end. We are in towards where we are about to walk through. God says we are in the eye of the storm, and that's where we have to get all mankind into, okay? The eye of the storm. We have to be in the center of all this chaos, the center of all this mass energy coming in, because we are about to go into that final portal, which is the Nile. It's right after the Nile portal, the 13th gate to heaven. Okay, it's been opened. It's been opened. I talked about that recently. So this one represents the sun and the moon. There's angel wings. There's the rainbow path, and I will put a divine masculine and feminine on it soon. It's not quite done. And the sun is not quite done. This isn't done. But we will be walking into the eye of the sun. It also has 2 snakes on it. Snakes have been relevant to the return the entire time. So 3i Atlas has everything to do with... Okay, so when I asked God today about 3i Atlas, something really cool came through. And the reason I'm asking is because it came up in my workshop recently. I'm like, wait a minute, I never thought to ask about that. Never thought to ask about that. So what is the significance? Well, let me tell you. So when I asked God about 3i Atlas today... Okay, so we can't do things like activate pyramids, undo the Holy Grail, undo the Sistine Chapel, remove all darkness from light, return the gods back together, which were twin flames that were ripped apart, and not have the end times, right? End of ways outside of God, God calls it. End of ways outside of God, and the return of light, the return of the gods. So what is 3i Atlas? People call it a prophecy. Is it a prophecy? I'm going to explain that as well, okay? Yes, it is part of that, but it's not scary. So I got something really cool about 3i Atlas, and it was Xenon. God said Xenon. Okay, let me explain that. What is Xenon? It's not a galaxy. It's the atmosphere it's made up of. So hear me out. Okay, very important here. What is Xenon? We're going to talk about this. It is the atmosphere that 3i Atlas is made up of, and I'm about to read that. But God said, I don't want to stop my share because I don't want it to glitch out. Okay? This is what God said. Extraterrestrial in origin. 3i Atlas is extraterrestrial in origin. It is from an outer galaxy. Obviously, it came in from somewhere else. And then he said Xenon, but that was not the name of the galaxy. So I had to look up what Xenon was. This is a galactic ascension. It's not just the Earth. So we are combining 70 galaxies, and it is known in the ethereal, right? It is cosmically known. It is not an enemy. No fear necessary. Do you hear that? There is no fear necessary. Fear, first of all, is not of God. If you have fear, you had healing to do. Okay, that is one of the tactics of the Matrix. So fear, especially with money, with all things temptations, is not of God, and that is a tactic of the Matrix. That is part of your karmic blueprint that you have to come out of to rise into this. We're about to go through the cosmic eye, you guys. Okay, that's why 3i Atlas is here. And they said, Stephen Burns said, I'm going to show you the video in just a moment, that it is here to stay for a while. And they said October is going to be massive. So 3i Atlas is not moving quickly out of our atmosphere. Okay, and there's a reason. So I'm going to explain that. It is not an enemy, and there is no fear necessary. Everything is preparing us for the event and the shift. Most are not prepared for. It is here to prepare us for the event. I'm going to explain why. I said when I was doing the 18 days of cosmic rays that things were going to come in. They were going to come into our atmosphere, kind of alien-esque, and they were going to help us with the ascension. They were going to help us carry these energies. It is time to shift, my friends. Like, it's here. I'm telling you, we are about to go into the eye of the storm. Now, what date? God's not going to give you a date. So everybody you hear talking about dates, that's ridiculous. Why would God do that? It sparks fear. God wouldn't do that, because then people, when they have a date to focus on, can block all kinds of things, and we don't want to do that. It's like knowing the date of your death. Generally, we might know it's coming at a soul level, but generally we don't know, right? And I'm just saying, God's not going to give you a date of exactness, but I can tell you right now is everything's aligned. So most are not prepared to receive that solar flash. The event is a great solar flash that is so profound, so bright. It's a sudden shift, and it takes us through that final portal, the 13th gate to heaven. And some will rise. Some will be called home through it. And if you didn't heal your shadow and your karma, you're not going to be able to. Heart reviews are applied. God does not judge anybody. That's a false God that they've been poisoning you with, okay? The biggest achievement of the darkness was fooling you that it was your God. So, this is assisting in our awareness shift. 3i Atlas is here to assist in our shift of awareness, as well as carry galactic energy, okay? Solar flash preparation. It is here to help us through the solar flash, the event. Here to assist us in the shift of the sun. Complex, it is alive. Some density, some expansiveness. Photosynthesis. Okay? So what is Xenon? I had to look that up. Okay? So they just told us what it is. Extraterrestrial in origin. It's from an outer galaxy, and it's carrying Xenon. It's a gas. This is a galactic ascension, not just of Earth, combining 70 galaxies, and it is known to all things, right? It's not an enemy, no fear necessary. Everything is prepping for the event and the shift. We're there. We're about to walk through the eye of the sun. Most are not prepared for, right? So that's what they call like the rapture. It's just a sudden awareness, and you need to be able to see the light to rise. Now, we don't have a front line. A lot of people didn't choose outside the matrix, unfortunately. So a lot are not ready, and most are not prepared for it. So I feel like God is good, and God is going to try to make sure people can see a little bit more, right? But I'm telling you right now is that the light might be hard to find. So it's not an enemy, no fear necessary. Everything is preparing us for the event or the shift. Most are not prepared for. This is assisting in our awareness shift as well as carrying galactic energy. It is a solar flash prep, which we are about to walk through the eye of the sun, here to assist us in the shift of the sun. It is complex. There is some density to it and some expansiveness to it. It is alive. And photosynthesis will be applied through it. Now, what is the significance of Xenon? I had to look that up. I'm like, what is Xenon? Is that the name of the galaxy? And God said, no. I'm just making sure my volume's working. Hopefully y'all can hear me. God said no. So I looked it up, okay? Xenon is a gas that used to be a part of the Earth, okay? So I'm going to read this to you. It is a blend of isotopes in the noble gas xenon detected by ESA's Rosetta mission to Comet 67P. It has a lot to do with like Jupiter and Mars, and the positioning of xenon through Jupiter and Mars is significant, okay? Let's see this one.
What 3i Atlas is. So I call it an interstellar object. The mainstream view is that it is an interstellar comet. There is a large group of people that are saying that it's some sort of alien technology, either sent to monitor the solar system, perhaps even to send some ships out when it's at its superior conjunction as viewed from Earth. That would be October 21st, because it'll be blocked by the light of the sun in front of it.
Look at that. Oh, go back, Mr. Friend. Go back, my friend. Oh no, where'd it go? Okay, so 3i Atlas is between Mars and Venus. Okay, also, like, so the reason that's significant is because when I started reading about the gas that God told me about called Xenon, which I thought was spelled with a Z, but it's X. Those are found on those planets. So let's listen. All abundances are normalized with respect to the abundance observed in the solar wind, the flow of charged particles streaming from the sun. So what is the event? I told you it's a great solar flash coming from the sun. My painting also shows this. Part 3 is the cosmic eye. We will walk the soul. You have to be walking your soul path. That's why I do what I do. Okay? I gave everybody that opportunity to walk their soul path. I do soul path coaching. You had the path to righteousness to heal everything. But a lot of people couldn't push past that resistance or judgment or ego or fear or money and things like that, right? Everything from the matrix is like poison and it stops you. There's a lot of resistance. So you have to be walking your soul path and you will enter the cosmic eye. The cosmic eye is from the sun and the moon together. Okay, so the final path home, the shift, the great shift, is a solar flash that is so massive. It carries all the DNA of Christ. It's in all the work that I've done since 2019, moving the sun, healing the sun, reactivating the moon, clearing all darkness off the moon, reuniting all twin flames from Adam and Eve, Jesus and Mary Magdalene to Sekhmet and Horus. They've all been returned together. That's what I've been doing since 2019. It's all been on this channel. And so we must walk that path. And the sun carries mass solar energy of Christ's light from the center earth to the sun, because it's also in the center earth. And I've said this in all the work that I've did. So I asked God, what is E3I Atlas? And people are aware that it's something significant because it's not normal. Even Stefan Burns tells you that something comes in and sits there. That's not a normal thing that we see all the time. Things will pass through and they don't usually stay. Okay? All right, so this xenon gas has been noted in the sun flares. You see this yellow rays of the solar wind is where you will find it. Let's see, so it's quite similar to that found in the solar wind, while the one present in the atmosphere of our planet contains a higher abundance of heavier isotopes with respect to the lighter ones. However, the latter is a result of lighter elements escaping more easily from Earth's gravitational pull and being lost in space in the greater amounts. By correcting the atmospheric composition of xenon for this runaway effect, scientists in the 70s calculated the composition of the primordial mixture of this noble gas, known as xenon, that was once present on Earth. I need my annotation. Let me show you. Okay? It was once present on Earth. Xenon. Once, that's a significant. So what is 3i Atlas? I told you we were going to need help photosynthesizing the sun. We were going to need help carrying, oh, I'm getting so much chills, this massive event. Otherwise, nobody would make it. The Earth wouldn't make it. Chemtrails. What do chemtrails do? They broke all this down from you. They took it away from you. Your ability to see your soul level, it's all a part of that. Okay, so those chemtrails, everybody knows now, by now, it's a poison, right? It was poisonous gases, and they were breaking down what was necessary for us, what was important for us. Okay, so this xenon contained a similar mix of light isotopes to that of asteroids and the solar wind. This is significant. Okay? This is significantly important for you. This xenon contained a similar mix of light isotopes to that of asteroids and the solar wind, but included significantly smaller amounts than the heavier isotopes. Come on, don't freeze on me. Don't freeze on me. Observations from Rosetta revealed the blend of xenon at comet blah blah blah. Don't freeze on me, my friend. Come back to me. So essentially this says it used to exist here on Earth in large amounts. It no longer does. It can be found in the core of the earth, which is also similar to the sun. That's what this says, and I hope it unfreezes. However, it's very little now in our atmosphere. So with that, if the solar flash event occurs, we don't have the xenon to help us photosynthesize. It is carried through the solar wind, through the sun rays. You will find high significance amounts of the xenon within the solar wind, okay? But we don't have it in our atmosphere anymore. So what is 3i Atlas? It's here to assist us to photosynthesize the solar flash. Mankind will only get through by their heart reviews regardless. However, the earth has to shift. I did all the work I did to the earth. She has to shift. So, therefore, there we go. Okay, I see. So don't worry about that. So observations from Rosetta revealed that the blend of xenon contains larger amounts of light isotopes than heavy ones. So it's quite different from the average mixture found in the solar system. A comparison with the onboard calibration sample confirmed the xenon detected the comet is also different from the current mix in the Earth's atmosphere. So God said, which I didn't know about this, I had no clue what xenon was. God said this 3i Atlas is carrying xenon. It's composed of xenon, large amounts of xenon. I'm hearing right now as I'm speaking to you. It is composed of large amounts of xenon to help us photosynthesize for the event. It's going to help shift us into new earth. And only those whose hearts are pure, your heart measurement have cleared your karma. This is why we needed the front line, was to help people see the light, because we are very close to that. Okay, we are. And you know, you're going to say, oh, does that mean it's here tomorrow? First of all, God's not going to tell you when. But I'm going to tell you right now is everything's prepped and aligned. That's what 3i Atlas is, and I had no idea that's what it was. Okay, let me undo this annotation. Let's go to erasure. Erasure, so we can read everything. Okay. Okay. So Rosetta's measurements of xenon at comet blah 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 suggest that comets contributed about 1/5 the amount of xenon in Earth's ancient atmosphere. Comets contributed about 1/3 Earth's ancient atmosphere. Do y'all see that? Let me annotate that. Let's annotate that, okay? Earth's ancient atmosphere. When I was bringing the ascension, I said we are raising Atlantis, but then we're also ascending Atlantis. We're going into 7D, so we need a lot of this right now. And those chemtrails, all of what they've done to the Earth, wiped them out. Okay? They also indicate that the protosolar cloud from which the sun, the planets, and small bodies were born was a rather inhomogeneous place in terms of its chemical composition. So I want you guys to think about Big Bang Theory for a second. I'm going to stop the share. Think about the Big Bang Theory, and this is what God told me all the time the event was in similar. It's some of it's accurate, okay? It is God-based, and it is a sudden flash of light and all the return of Christ, and you have to be ready and receptive to that kind of energy, that kind of light, or it blows you to pieces, right? Like, it's going to change our composition. It's going to change we all have to be ready to receive it. And that's why we have to heal the shadow and the karma. We cannot carry the matrix with us anymore because it is now the return of light. That was part 2 of my painting. Okay, so you have talk of all these volcanoes erupting right now. Part 1 was the buffalo, the white buffalo fleeing the erupting volcanoes. White buffalo are significant to the return. In some of my work a year or 2 ago, they kept saying it, the white buffalo. They kept calling me the white buffalo, the return, the return. So this 3-part painting is very significant. Okay, God is pushing me to finish it. So I worked for hours on it yesterday. Like, I'm trying to get it out there. The sun and the moon, the golden path rainbow is your spiritual path. That's your soul path. We must unite with the soul self and eliminate all separation. Kilimanjaro is representative through Adam or Jesus and Mary Magdalene. Kilimanjaro, when I unactivated Mount Shasta, all that energy went to Fiji and Kilimanjaro. Fiji is the feminine pyramid, Kilimanjaro is the masculine, and they were kind of brought together and through all the work that I've done. Okay, they're pyramids. And these three, I uncorked them and shoved so much light through them. Okay, that's what the pyramids are. They're like a big solar panel. Okay, there are energy centers, there are true energy portals. This waterfall and the river, just like when I undid the Nile and Horus and Sekhmet returned, are representative of Horus and Sekhmet, not Thoth. He was a false god. He stole from Horus. He murdered Horus. Sekhmet was murdered. She was beheaded. I returned that when I dried the Nile. Okay? Then the snake was represented through Adam and Eve, which I brought back together when I birthed the new earth. So this painting, God said, was a representative of all life returning, which is how I channeled it through. It says the sun and the moon, Jesus, Mary Magdalene, Sekhmet and Horus, Adam and Eve. So it's the return of the light. Okay, so you have mass volcanoes erupting, also earthquakes, God said, the return of the light, and then the sun and the moon portal home. It's time to go home. And that was this one. Okay, I channeled it through this one and this way in that workshop. And I'm not done finishing this. So this will be a golden rainbow path that takes you to the center sun. We are into the center sun right now. You have the sun and the moon, which is the eye of Christ's consciousness. Okay, the sun is our portal home. Then angel wings here, right? So what is Xenon? Why is 3i Atlas important? It's a mass ball of Xenon. It is extraterrestrial in origin. It itself is alive from an outer galaxy, and it's carrying large amounts of Xenon, which our atmosphere used to carry, but it no longer does. So in order to photosynthesize the sun, we need it. What is photosynthesis? If you watch my work and have done my workshops, which we don't really have a front line, not a lot of people have done, most of them are on this channel, I tell you many times over, as the sun comes through and it shines out of the core and out of the pyramids and into the dome and into all of mankind, the trees will help photosynthesize it. It will help process the DNA codes. 3i Atlas is going to help us carry the shift of Christ, the return of the gods. Okay? That's exactly what it is. I knew nothing about Xenon. I'm a master healer. I do have a degree, but it's not in science or quantum physics channels through me. That's what I work through in activating pyramids and returning all this stuff and undoing the darkness. Yes, I get quantum physics. I know what it means to stand in the center sun and to stop all time. I feel that in the work that I do. I channel everything. I'm a master healer. I truly, truly am. Work with me to know that what I do is truly authentic. Like, I don't hide anything. I don't have to know anything about you, right? Spirit shows me everything I need to know, and it's always spot on. I have a degree in psychology, okay, not science. So when they said Xenon, I'm like, what is Xenon? I was like, is that the name of the galaxy? That sounds made up. And so I looked it up, and it's a gas. And I got so much confirmation, and it goes with the message. This is solar flash prep. 3i Atlas is here to help us rise for those that get to rise. Okay? For those that chose the path of the soul path, which is what I've been trying to show everybody the entire time. You have to choose your soul path. You have to do the healing no matter what. Okay? And in the Cosmic Rays workshop that I did 1 year ago, I talked about this. We are going into the cosmic eye, which I was watching a little bit earlier. Some of that, let's see if I can, I don't know if I want to bring it up and freeze anything here. But day 13 of that, oh, there it was. Let's go back. I don't know why it was right when I brought up that. It was there. Quick access. There we go. So I just want to show you really, really quick. I was watching it earlier. Day 13 of my Cosmic Rays. I was missing some of the days. I think it's on my other computer. Day 13 of Cosmic Rays of Reunification was talking about the front light of God, the house of God, the eye of the storm. Okay? Getting into the eye of the storm. The front line, those that were supposed to rise through this work and help heal and help remove their karma, were helping mankind. And I talked about that. Being the front line, helping people see the light to rise. And unfortunately, the shadow, El Diablo, whatever you want to call it, had a big pull on mankind. We are not ready as a mankind. And so Earth is not ready to carry that energy either, because not enough people chose the light. So if you don't have enough people ready to carry that light, what's going to happen? God is intervening. Okay? Cosmic rays, but I think it may have also always going to be there, because we need that gas in our atmosphere to photosynthesize the sun ray that's about to come in, which is our final portal, the 13th gate to heaven. The event is a sudden solar flash, so massive that nothing will survive except pure light. Cosmic rays, day 18, right? Like that's what the shift is. It draws those into new earth, will be rebirthed basically in new earth, and those who had energy that didn't align can't go through that. That's that final portal. Day 18, abundance return to the divine. Okay? So it has to be sovereign abundance through the divine. Masculine and feminine. Okay? So that truly is what 3i Atlas is. It's here it's carrying xenon gas, which is here to help us photosynthesize and process the great solar flash. The energy from the sun. If we cannot process enough of that, Earth will not be able to handle the shift herself, let alone mankind, which we already aren't ready for. Okay? Is this making sense? So I want to go back. Yeah, humanity is not ready. Stephen Burns, super intelligence from deep space. 3i Atlas is super intelligence from deep space. And
Hey everyone, geophysicist Stefan Burns here. Currently, there is an interstellar object passing through our solar system, the third ever detected. This is 3i Atlas. 3 stands for the third, I for interstellar. Atlas is the observatory network that first discovered this interstellar visitor. It is sweeping through exactly along the ecliptic plane, which is quite bizarre. The past 2 interstellar visitors, Oumuamua in 2017 and Borisov in 2019, passed through at very high inclinations and only interacted as a result with the solar wind heliospheric current sheet for just a short amount of time. But because 3i Atlas is coming in nearly aligned with the ecliptic plane, it's going to be interacting with the inner solar system, the outer solar system, the sun, everything in our solar system electromagnetically for a long period of time.
Now, God's pointing me to another video I did in the return work. I have a playlist where you can see the entire return play out. It's all recorded for you. It was my own awakening. I had no idea what was coming. Clearing Mount Shasta, activating the pyramids, starting with Fiji and more. So the sun here, I started healing the sun. I started healing the moon. And in the path to righteousness, there's like 13 more moon healings. It was all a part of the shadow. And then all the way down here, like you see the whole journey unfold, including the battle with my twin flame I didn't know I had. That was intense and I almost didn't survive, okay? But the reason why what Stefan just said was the solar eclipse, it's aligned with the solar eclipse path, the solar wind, just like I told you. God says it's carrying xenon, which is a gas necessary for photosynthesis, which our atmosphere used to house, but no longer does much have that. Part of their chemtrail poisonings, God is saying. Okay, 7Ds Pleiades galaxy ascension phase, solar eclipse elimination phase 1. These are the actual work. Just like all my other workshops, I go in, I channel the energy, I move the light, I move the earth, I change things, which isn't normal. It's not normal, but it's all right here. I had no problem showing you guys. The problem is can you see past the shadow? Without judgment, because you don't want to bring judgment into this work. It hurts. Anyways, so the solar eclipse eliminations, they were false alignment of solar eclipses, which I have changed. Here's the Nile. Pyramid, the Nigeria, Botswana, Zimbabwe, then the Nile. And right before that, I did the masculine pyramids, blew up the White House, and and that means many things, okay, Mount Kilimanjaro. Then I learned that Sekhmet was next, and I had no idea what that meant, and Book of Revelations, and what I've done, okay? And then the Nile came through. They showed me what the cross really was. Jesus did not die on a cross. That was a lie. The Ankh, the truth, the true cross, okay? Why was it broken? If you know what I did to the Holy Grail and doing it, and at Jesus and Mary Magdalene having to bring them back together, cleansing the blood of Christ was all a part of it, okay? But there is a certain particular thing I talk about with the sun. Eclipse again, okay? The collective solar message, what I did to the eclipse on the 25th. Full moon eclipse, October 25th. So I kept doing things to the eclipse, the sun and the moon, okay? And they were mind-blowing. I was like, oh my gosh. Necessary sun activations, ascension portal activation, return of Christ work. And people were telling me, oh, the collective is doing that. No, you're not. The collective isn't ready. I'll tell you that right now. Everybody's stuck in their ego, stuck in the matrix components and karma and shadow. You know, very few of us are actually ready to receive this light. Okay, and not everybody can just mess with the sun and the moon. You're not changing that. What you will do is carry the light for all of everybody, help with that, and ascend yourself and help your ancestors and so on. And then Horus returns. It's not my ego. You have to be like a god to do this kind of work. This is not normal. It wasn't normal for me. It took over. It was part of my awakening, and I didn't know it was happening. It was just happening. Horus came through the Sphinx. I freed his soul through the Sphinx, which I activated, which was a part of it. Return of Christ, sun, moon, eclipse alignment. You were called home through the sun. This was like that April 8th or whatever it was that year. So then I talk about the sun. Here's birthing the new earth. This is so important. Day 1, Adam and Eve came back together, and there is like a visible pathway. You can't get through into new earth if you have any of the matrix with you. You cannot bring it into new earth. That's why God says it's not the rapture, it's the return of the gods, okay? The sun and the moon and all DNA coming through. Very important, and that's what 3i Atlas is about to help us do. And then all light is called home on day 6. Day 7, all trumpets are played by the angels. And day 8 is this one. This is very important. The final portal of life brought about by the great solar flash. Okay? 3i Atlas carries that energy. There's one more important sun thing I talk about in here that talks about the sun, the alignment, the DNA, the photosynthesization, the atomization. We need to be able to atomize. It's like all this sunlight, this Christ light coming through. And if we can't atomize, I'm looking for it. It's in here somewhere. You'd have to look through them. If you cannot atomize with the sun and the solar flash and your DNA and all of that, here it is. So this is how this full moon and sun CME is changing everything. Think Big Bang Theory Part 2. Okay, so I talk about it. Truth about the sun you may not be ready to see. True energy grid pyramids, crystalline grid in the sun. This is our return. Okay? Judgment Day is not what everybody, you had a false energy claiming to be God. God does not judge anybody, but your heart is measured. If you choose the matrix over God, then that's your choice. But only those who choose light, who rise into the light, who choose love unconditional, who don't allow money, fear, ego, greed, false timelines, and even religion to dictate their choices. They stay in their power, their sovereignty, and they don't give their power of God to the shadow. Only those rise, and that's through fear, through anything, through doubt. You have to co-create with God, not the shadow. And that's what determines who will make it through this portal. Now, there was one video on here God pointed to, and it was Edgar Casey's thing about this 3i Atlas. Let's see if I can find it. We will end this video by watching that, because God pointed to that.
What 3i Atlas is.
So Stephen Burns is very smart. He's awake. He talks about both sides of it. I really like him a lot. And every now and again I watch his stuff. Now, I haven't really watched, you see, I only watched this video a few minutes in, and God said show that one. Okay?
Oh. Any
So that's what we will do. I shouldn't have any ads on here because for a temporary time, I go to school right now for becoming a certified clinical hypnotherapist. So because of that, I actually get the YouTube premium, so there shouldn't be any ads. So let's see how this goes. This is Edgar Casey Vision, Alien Contact Prophecy, and the Mystery of Three Eye Atlas.
Across time. Here we uncover the warnings carved in the stars, the visions hidden in sacred texts, and the alarms that were sounded long before our age.
Oh.
If you have ever felt...
They want me to say really quick, part of the rapture or the return was undoing the Sistine Chapel. Religion, all religion, we are not meant to be divided, okay? The Sistine Chapel, I told you how St. Francis was going to die, and right days before it happened, and then it happened on Easter. I talked about what Easter was on a live as well. So God showed, and I did all this before it happened. But I undid the Sistine Chapel part 1 and 2. They had the cherubim angels trapped there. It was the biggest portal of darkness. That's what God calls it. Some would call it the portal to hell. And that is the truth of the Sistine Chapel. So if you really want to know who your Antichrist is, look to the Pope.
Felt that the earth is speaking. That the
Oh, but the Antichrist also is not just one individual. It's multiple and including and not limited to the Matrix blueprint. So it's all a part of that. So the Pope is like the head guy, but there's multiple puppets, right? He's like the puppet master, but then there's multiple puppets. And the Bible had a lot of false imprinting on it that was not of God. And part of undoing the Sistine Chapel was taking that out of the Bible. Some of the Bible was real and some of it was manipulated and poisoned, and the Holy Grail was the same thing. They used the Word of God, they contorted them, and they stole the power of God. The biggest trick the devil played on you was pretending to be your God and taking your power of God through your free will. So let's listen to what Edgar Casey says about Three Eye Atlas.
heavens are watching, and that history is repeating. You're in the right place. This is Ancient Alarms, where prophecy unfolds and the future is revealed. Edgar Casey once whispered a riddle that has haunted those who have studied his visions. When the stranger from the deep heavens returns, mankind will be weighed on the scales of its own choosing. Pause for a moment. Let those words sink in. What did he mean by stranger? What did he mean by weighed on scales? And why did he insist this stranger would return in a time of great turmoil? Today, many believe the answer is hanging above our heads. Out there, hidden in the black ocean of space, a visitor named Three Eye Atlas, a wandering interstellar body that will once again become visible in late October. But what if this isn't simply a comet? What if this is the very stranger Casey warned about? Not a lump of ice and rock, but a probe of consciousness. A what?
Okay, first of all, it's Christ consciousness. So does Christ return? Yes, but not just through a man named Jesus. Through all three layers of God that I showed you that were taken out of here. Jesus and Mary Magdalene, Adam and Eve, and Sekhmet and Horus. They've been brought back together, and we had to bring their twin flames. And we had to remove all darkness from that. So God said Three Eye Atlas is here to help us photosynthesize the sun. But that is not your return of Christ. Let's make that clear. It's helping us to process the awakening. God said it's extraterrestrial in origin, from another galaxy carrying Xenon, the gas. This is a galactic ascension, not just for Earth. We are combining 70 galaxies, and that is known in the interstellar connection. It's not an enemy, no fear necessary. Everything is prepping us for the event, the shift. Most are not prepared for, okay? It's assisting in our awareness, so it is assisting in carrying that light so that we can awaken Christ consciousness, as well as carry galactic energy for the photosynthesis and final portal home.
Sent not to destroy us, but to test us. And here's the mystery that shakes the soul. Casey described star beings. He spoke of visitors, of watchers, of those who come not to conquer, but to measure. He called them the children of the law of one. Guardians of
the law of one. In my path to righteousness, the Alchemy Academy, one of the first things I did was talk about the lay of the land, the law of one, all connectedness. We can't give God's light to the shadow. That's the difference between those who rise and those that don't.
Divine order, ancient allies of humanity. Could it be that comets, those sudden apparitions that blaze across our skies, are not accidents of celestial mechanics, but instruments of judgment, harbingers of remembrance, messengers of awakening, warnings cloaked in fire and ice? Listen closely, for this is no ordinary tale of astronomy. This is prophecy unfolding in real time.
And there's been a lot of that. The 3 knights coming out of the sky came through. The red dragon was Mount Shasta, and that's been conquered, and I showed that on my channel. And then my twin flame union dealt with the battle of the deep blue sea, God said, and apparently that's also part of the prophecies of the rapture. The sun and the moon movements, it's all there. Like, how much more do we have to see? Only the blind won't.
When Edgar Cayce slipped into trance, he often spoke of 2 realities. The first, the ordinary world, our politics, our greed, our endless wars. But the second was a world beyond, a higher reality, one where watchers observed the human experiment. He described them as beings who once walked among us in the days of Atlantis and Lemuria, guiding us toward...
Wait a minute. Didn't Xenon was mentioned in our older ancient Earth? So it's a part of what allows us to expand into the conscious awareness of all that. It's an expansion into who we are as a soul, who we've always been. Look at that. I love this.
...toward balance. But when humanity fell into selfishness, they withdrew. They became distant observers. Still present, still watching, but silent. And now, their presence may return. October. The month when the veil between worlds grows thin. The month when 3i, Atlas...
So there used to be resistance to that veil growing thin. There no longer is. And undoing Mount Shasta and all the things that I have undone, it's destroyed. We have to come. That's the golden rainbow path. That's your soul path. You have to align to your soul. We cannot be separated. There's no separation anymore. No duality is available anymore. That's the difference between those who stay and look at this, the red place, or rise to the new earth. The place of fire and lava and destruction, because in birthing the new earth, it was like splitting the 2 earths. God showed me that's what I was doing multiple times. Splitting darkness from light, splitting the 2 earths. And the one that can't rise, the one that stays with what you would call El Diablo or the fallen, becomes a massive nothingness, detached completely from all life support. And so it just falls into this massive nothingness until it breaks apart.
Once more brushes past Earth's skies. To the scientist, it is a rogue traveler. To the mystic, it is a messenger. And to Edgar Cayce, it was always more than a comet. Cayce said, "If mankind has chosen greed, the stranger will bring fire. If mankind has chosen compassion, the stranger will bring light."
So that actually makes sense to the work that I did. Many times when I did the work, I said, what doesn't align will burn. What does not align with, that's why they depict hell burning, because what doesn't align with Christ's light burns. It causes it to burn and combust. That's exactly what he's talking about. What doesn't align with this mass light coming in will burn. And I talk about the fires. I even predicted the fires that happened this year. Those are in my videos. Why aren't people noticing? Because they can't see past the shadow.
Do you hear the weight in those words? A choice, a test. Not a punishment from outside, but a mirror of what humanity already is. That is the terror and the beauty of prophecy. It does not force, it reveals. Think of this. For centuries, human cultures have linked comets with great turning points in history.
Wait. You see his eye? You guys, you see his eye? Oh my God. Okay, look at my eye. The sun. Dude, do you see his eye? I haven't watched this video. You saw I watched to this far when I started it. God showed me it today. I started this painting. I channeled this message for this painting months ago, okay? Months ago. And look at my eye compared to his eye.
The fall of kings, the rise of empires, the collapse of cities, a comet appears, and the world trembles. Why? Because at some deep, unconscious level, humanity senses that comets are omens. They stir ancient memory. They carry the vibration of judgment. And Casey confirmed this.
The light of God. That's what it's here to do. And that's exactly what God said. Xenon. It's filled with xenon gas to carry the Christ light through the sun. Because I brought it through the sun. It's through the sun. And the moon. They're connected. They've been realigned and connected. The moon's fully healed. So is the sun.
He spoke of celestial visitors as living signs, not random rocks, not blind wanderers, but signals, almost like questions cast into the fabric of space. And 3I Atlas is such a question. Imagine this, a glowing fire eye streaking across the October skies, not just seen, but felt. As it passes, dormant vibrations awaken. Some feel an unease.
So what did God said? What did God say? Here to assist in our awareness and our shift of awareness and to carry the galactic energy. Otherwise, we'd all be in trouble. And this is bringing what you would call Judgment Day or the rapture, because if you're not ready to ascend, you don't ascend. I don't know why people thought we had all the time in the world. We didn't. The path was placed out right in front of us, and we had to walk it. And those that chose not to, just like he said in the beginning, through your choices. You cannot give God's light to the shadow. And unfortunately, that's what most people chose to do.
In their dreams. Others experience sudden visions. Earth itself shudders with quakes, volcanoes stir, auroras blaze like wounds across the heavens.
Okay, so this is what I'm telling you. 1 year ago, I did the cosmic reunification, and I brought in all those rays, and they're all filled with Christ light. It's all the rays, the rainbow rays, and I called it the Cosmic Rays of Reunification. It was a workshop that I did 1 year ago, October into November. That's very real, and I just showed you a little bit of that. It was October into November. Let's look. These are my personal files. Because what I talk about, I'm not making it up. Cosmic Rays Workshop. And I'm missing some of them. There was 18 days of it, but it was a year ago. So, give me my Cosmic Rays Workshop. I don't know. Because I'm showing you guys, it's like glitching and not bringing it to me. There we go. Reunification. Ooh, only 2 of them had that in there. Cosmic Rays. Let's see. There we go. So all 6. Show all 6. Ooh, there we go. Okay, so I had more. There's 18 days of them. And if you look, it's October, 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 November. And so 1 year later, here we are with the same talk of 3I Atlas and the cosmic rays, like it looks like northern lights. And I kept talking about this in this. I was bringing through the cosmic rays, bringing through the sun, through the pyramids, exploding volcanoes, earthquakes occurring, because it's the Earth's energy expanding. Okay? So, crows and the native soul activation, cosmic rays, reunification, crows and the native soul activation. These are workshops of the return. Okay? 13 was the front line of God, house of God, eye of the storm. And in that I talked about how people who saw this path were supposed to take this path to help mankind find the light. In this time, mankind needs to be able to find the light. And unfortunately, that is not all of what was chosen. Okay, a lot of people chose to give God's light within them to the shadow, to fear, to false time, to money being more important than everything, to fear with money, to all these things that were lies. Okay, and then abundance returned to the divine. Okay, so, that's where we are. Let's listen.
Is this superstition? Or is it the natural reaction of a living planet to the approach of a cosmic watcher? KC would say, the Earth is alive, and just like humanity, it too is weighed on the scales. Now, pause. Picture
So Earth has been cleared. Earth has been everything. God said, "I left no stone unturned." I cleared all darkness out of the earth. I cleared all darkness out of the earth, clearing Mount Shasta. I cleared the White House. I undid the money matrix. I undid the religious matrix. I undid the medical matrix. I undid, and I also predicted all the other stuff. I cleared it all. God said, "I left no stone unturned." We removed I undid the pentagram. I removed all darkness. I undid the Sistine Chapel. The money matrix took us into the cosmic eye. Okay? So think about when something happens in the universe, it circles back around and manifests into your reality. So all this work that I have been doing, we are now experiencing.
the scales of balance in your mind. On one side, greed, corruption, wars without end. On the other, compassion, love, humility, truth. Every act we choose tips the scale.
Y'all see his scrolls? Do you see the scroll on that image? Everything I did was given to me through a scroll. When I ended the Sistine Chapel, God handed it to me in a scroll. Part 2 was significant because he gave me a scroll with ivory, and I didn't know what that meant. I had to look that up. Antichrist and Portal of Darkness. It was the Sistine Chapel was the portal to hell. That was the darkest portal. God doesn't call it hell. But he gave it to me. You can watch it. He gave it to me in a scroll with ivory. Okay? Why? Undid the justice system, who's been really in charge anyways. It hasn't been the White House. The White House is just a puppet from the master. Okay? The death of the Pope, end times prophecy, Malachi. When I told you how the Pope would die, and that's exactly how he died, I showed that in the Sistine Chapel and doing part 2. The Pope is your Antichrist, okay? So it's all here. What was I going at? Yeah, so the Earth, I said many times, has her own Akasha records, has her own measurement, and this is why I told you we had to be soul path aligned. You know, this was actually a free way to find out if you were soul path aligned and how to get there, and everybody shunned it. That's the truth. Okay, we all think that if God showed up, we'd be ready. The things have been right in front of us the whole time. This one was taking the light through all the pyramids, realigning the north, east, south, and the west back to the north. This is all biblical. The earth is done. The earth is good. She's ready to shift. Mankind, unfortunately, has a bigger wrath path.
Every war, every polluted river, every act of selfishness adds weight to the side of destruction. But every kindness, every sacrifice, every moment of love adds weight to the side of light. Casey said this stranger from the stars does not choose for us. It only reflects, like a cosmic.
Dude, that's exactly what God said, okay? It's extraterrestrial in origin. It's carrying Xenon in order to photosynthesize the solar flash. It's not Christ returned, but it's helping to carry that, and it helps to carry this cosmic mirror of your, what people call Judgment Day. Because if you're not guided by God, if you're not co-creating with spirit only, which is your soul, which is God is through you, okay? God is within us all. I'm not saying you are God. I wouldn't even say I'm God, but I do the work of God, okay? I carry that light. That's who I am. That's what I was here for. And I followed my soul path. That's the difference. Most of you did not follow your soul path. Some do, right? No matter what other people do to us, no matter how much they judge us, no matter how much fear, no matter how much other people say, well, money is more important, this is more important. I'm over here saying, God says no. Actually, I had to do this. I showed up. Why am I doing this? I don't know. When I went to Fiji, everybody's like, why are we at Fiji? I don't know. And then I was handed a scroll. I read the scroll and I activated pyramids. In the Sistine Chapel Part 2, God explained through scripture the scrolls, and I had to decipher that message because I don't read the Bible. I never did. Okay? It's time for light to rise. So this 3-eye atlas is your cosmic mirror. It's helping to photosynthesize the return of Christ.
Mirror,
the sun.
it returns to us exactly what we have chosen. This is why October...
I said that. This is why you have to clear all karma, because the rapture, Judgment Day, which if you watch my 2025 predictions, I told you exactly again what God calls Judgment Day. Some will go, some will stay, some will never know life this way. God does not judge you. It is a reflection of your choices. Your karma is reflected back at you. This is why you have to heal all karma. The path to righteousness, which was everything I did, was put into a path, and God said, here you go. That's everything you needed to heal your karma. But do you think people chose that? Not really.
Matters. This is why 3-eye Atlas matters. Some will scoff. They will say, it's just a rock, just a comet. But prophecy was never meant for scoffers. Prophecy is a whisper for those who can hear.
In the heart.
KC often spoke of the harvest of souls, not as some distant religious concept, but as a moment when humanity faces itself, a moment when we are asked, are you ready for higher contact, or are you still trapped in the chains of selfishness? And the watchers, those beings Casey described, are not far off gods. They are closer than we think, perhaps interstellar civilizations, perhaps ancient guardians, perhaps fragments of ourselves that have already evolved. Their message is not thunder, not fire, not lightning. It is silence, observation, the watching of a test. October becomes the...
I did a video on why not everybody will ascend, and it went through Revelations 21:12, and you will be tested in all choices that you make, which are the testaments to God. Do you give your power of God to the darkness, or do you choose God and the light and sovereignty within you over all things? Those that chose the V out of fear and, oh God, I'll lose my job, then so be it. God would never take your free will, and those that are not of God. Okay? So why not everybody will ascend? Because they will choose not to see real God. They will choose not to co-create with God, but rather will co-create with the shadow. They will continue giving their power of the light to the shadow, to the matrix, to the fallen, which is what the Holy Grail came from. John the Apostle followed the fallen and killed Jesus. And if you watch Undoing the Holy Grail on Christmas Day, which I had right here for you all to see, that I did live, that I had no idea what I was doing, as everything, you would know that. Some follow the fallen. Some will follow the light. Some will choose to heal and rise, and others will choose to mock and judge.
The window of judgment. The watchers gather. Earth is weighed. Do we open the door to contact, or do we fall into collapse?
The volcanoes. Okay, so my first painting was the white buffalo running from the volcanoes that were erupting. Why is that significant? Do you know some of the pyramids I activated were volcanoes? But every time I would awaken the volcanoes, I uncorked Kilimanjaro. I blew up Mount Sinai also in the Exodus of Egypt work.
Is the crossroads Casey foresaw. And here's something unsettling. Astronomers call 3-eye Atlas an interstellar object. That means it came from outside our solar system. It is not one of our own comets. It is a stranger, exactly the word Casey.
Wait, extraterrestrial in origin from an outside galaxy. Oh my gosh, no wonder God wanted me to watch this.
Used. Stranger from the deep heavens. Do you feel the shiver in that? A stranger. Not of this system. Not bound to our sun. And yet, it comes here. Why? Is it chance? Or is it a deliberate visitation? KC would say, there are no accidents in the heavens. Think of ancient scriptures. The book of Enoch spoke of watchers, heavenly beings who descended to observe and to guide. The Hopi spoke of the blue star Kachina.
Also, in the beginning of my work, I kept saying I'm bringing through the blue Hopi prophecy. I kept saying that when I was activating the very first pyramids of Indonesia, Fiji, Myanmar, Machu Picchu, and undoing Mount Shasta and raising Atlantis. I kept saying I'm bringing through the Hopi Blue prophecy, and I couldn't read it at first because it would have tainted the work I was doing anyways. I had no insight into what I was doing other than what was channeling through me. It was amazing. And God said to record it before it even happened. And I did. And I look back and I'm like, thank you, God. You're so amazing.
A heavenly visitor signaling the purification of earth. Nostradamus spoke of a fire in the sky preceding upheaval. And now we have Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet, tying these threads together in his trance. He said the Watchers will return, not as conquerors, but as mirrors, to show us to ourselves. And the comet, that is the signal, that is the timing, that is the window. Before we go deeper into this mystery, I want to pause for just a moment. If this message is resonating with you, if you feel the weight of Cayce's vision stirring something inside, consider supporting this work with a super thanks.
You guys, yeah, I don't know this channel. I hopefully they're going to let me use this video. So yeah, support it for sure. Thank you for the information, because God actually pointed me to this information. And look how much it aligns with what God said 3i Atlas is. And all the work that I did in the Return of Christ work. Like, I had to undo I had to get a walk in twin flame, what happened with Adam and Eve, and they caused an imbalance in the masculine and feminine and in the earth, and they undid all of what God was, and they stole the power of God. And that is what has been undone. The earth is healed. The earth is ready. But mankind on a very large scale will not be able to see the light.
It helps keep these revelations alive and shared with those who are searching for truth. Your support means more than you know. Now, let's return to the Watchers in the heavens and the question that haunts us all. What will they see in us when they arrive? So what happens when the Watcher arrives in October? Cayce said its presence would
God said they're already here.
Awaken dormant vibrations. That means within us, old memories, old fears, old hopes begin to stir. Some people may have dreams of lights in the sky. Others may feel an unexplained pull toward truth, toward confession, toward repentance. The earth itself may quake, not because the comet collides, but because its vibration brushes against our planet's field. A resonance, a reminder. Auroras could flare, volcanoes could murmur.
The cosmic rays, they will flare. Volcanoes, yes, because the earth is expanding from her core out. I took the sun and I shoved it into the core. Our core of the earth is the center sun. It's connected. So all this sun rays that's coming down is going through the pyramids into the core, coming out our trees, photosynthesizing in the atmosphere, which thank goodness for 3i Atlas, because we didn't have Xenon energy, which connects us to the sun, allows us to photosynthesize. So that's what 3i Atlas is helping us do. It's helping us carry that light, reflecting our truth, and ascending for those that are ready, which maybe less than was hoped.
Strange lights could dance across the night, and humanity will feel a weight on its chest, a knowing that we are being watched. But here is the most haunting part. Cayce said, the Watchers do not punish, they reflect. Mankind shall see itself in the heavens.
So that's what God said. God does not judge. That's what Judgment Day is. It's not a judgment. It's a reflection of your choices. In the end days, you will live out your karmic blueprint, which is why in order to rise, you had to heal your karma. All darkness was cleared from the earth, and you had to not give your power away to the shadow in any way, shape, or form, and you've been being tested in that. Do you choose love and light? Do you choose co-creating with God and being a sovereign being of creation? Or do you choose fear? Do you choose greed? Well, money is more important. This is more important. That's more. You've always been tested. And the reason why some people won't ascend is because they choose to continue giving God's light to the shadow, to the matrix blueprint. That being more important than anything. And they won't co-create with God.
That means whatever we see, whatever we feel, is not alien judgment. It is our own, our wars, our greed, our pollution, our corruption. These are the fires we ignite.
I said the earth has her own karmic kickback. When you watch my videos, Birthing New Earth, all of that stuff, I said the earth has her own karmic kickback. Birthing New Earth occurred in Lionsgate a year ago. Okay? God said enough. He shifted plans, and the portal of the Nile is now. We've been rising ever since. Okay? And all the work that I've implemented is swinging back around into your reality either way. Okay? So each one of the days of Birthing New Earth, I reflect what the matrix will feel. I reflect the birthing of New Earth and the karmic kickback to the matrix. The 12 trumpets, they said there will be 3 major events that cause people to look up. Could 3i Atlas be one of them? Maybe. Okay? Everybody thinks God is here to punish and destroy. It's you who've destroyed yourselves. God is just here to reflect your truth. He said, when I undid the Sistine Chapel Part 2, those who choose not to rise will not be punished. But only those who choose to rise will have abundance. Those who choose not to rise will live in their karmic blueprint. Some will go, some will stay, and some will never know life this way. And Birthing New Earth shows more of what that karmic kickback is. When Sekhmet and Horus returned at the Nile, there was a karmic kickback. Everything reflects a karmic kickback. It's always your reflection of you.
The watcher only holds the mirror. And yet, if compassion rises, if kindness expands, if forgiveness blooms, then the watcher reflects light, a blessing, a sign that we are ready for the next step. The scales are tipping even now, and October may be the moment they lock into place. Some will call this fear-mongering, but remember, prophecy is not about scaring.
There is no fear in God. You will know that's a temptation of the matrix. That's not what any of us are doing. God brought the path. He showed you the path, and he said, hello, this is your way home. No fear. Why would there be fear? He gave us the path home. It was your free will.
It is about preparing. It is about awakening. Casey never wanted humanity to live in terror. He wanted us to live in awareness, to recognize that the universe is not silent, that our actions echo far beyond Earth, that we are part of a cosmic family, and the family is watching. So what will we choose? When the fire eye of 3i Atlas blazes across October skies, will we tremble in fear, or will we rise in compassion? Because the harvest is not about crops, it is about souls, and October is the window. But let's press deeper.
Okay, so is that when we go into the center of the cosmic eye? The great solar flash, the time to rise, and it won't wait for you, right? Like God gave us the path the entire time, so it won't wait for you. You had to take it. You had to push past resistance and fear and false concepts of time and ego, and what needed to be more important was God, was love, was togetherness, was forgiveness, was unity, not judging the path home, not giving God's light and power to the shadow, not fearing God. That's a lie. That the biggest thing the shadow did was pretend to be your God and put the fear of God in you. And it's a lie. So, what is 3i Atlas? I'll read it one more time. Extraterrestrial in origin. It came from an outer galaxy carrying Xenon, which is a gas, I learned. I didn't know that. I just channeled this before I came on today. This is a galactic ascension, not just to Earth, and we are combining 70 galaxies, and it is known. So it's not an enemy, no fear necessary. Didn't I just say that in here? God always says there's no fear. God didn't come here to create fear. That's the matrix. The matrix put the fear of God in you. The matrix said God is here to judge you. You had a choice. It was your free will. And what was being done was shown the entire time. He hid nothing from you. But the shadow did. That's why you have to be authentic, and you need to see all truths, because the shadow will tempt you to see lies. Not the enemy. No fear necessary for 3i Atlas. Everything is preparing us for the event, the shift. Most are not prepared for. This is assisting in our awareness shift as well as carrying galactic energy. Solar flash prep. here to assist us in the shift of the sun. Complex, it is alive. Some density, some expansiveness. Photosynthesize. Okay? So Edgar Cayce, I would say, is spot on, because it goes right along with what God said in a large way, doesn't it? And the work. Holy shnikes. And then the gas. Oh my gosh, what Earth used to carry. Okay? Jupiter and Mars are actually very high in frequency for that gas, by the way. And where is it positioned between Mars and Venus? Like, there is a purpose to everything that's happening right now. Nothing is outside of the divine alignment right now. Okay. Also, I undid that whole CERN. It's all been blown up. They've lost their connection to God. They've lost their connection to the earth. They still have a connection to those that chose not to rise, but not those of us that rose. Okay? Does this make sense? So 3i Atlas is that. It's here to help carry that. It is not judgment. God does not judge you. You chose to heal your karma or not. You chose to choose God over the shadow or the shadow over God. It was your choice. God would never take away your free will. And he showed you the entire time what needed to be done. And many people that rose with me during my path chose to attack it instead. Chose the shadow, which caused a blindness in a large part for the collective. And the divine masculine, same thing. Because of that, most of the collective can't see. So many more are laughing at it and gawking at it rather than seeing what needs to be. Also, really quickly, I want to show you something. I just realized on the Edgar Cayce, look at the pyramids. Look at the pyramids, y'all. Look at the pyramids. Look at the pyramids. Okay, and the third eye lit up in all of these guys within the pyramids. Okay, here's your pyramids. Fiji, awakening the pyramids. Indonesia, Myanmar, Machu Picchu, Budapest, Thailand. I did all those back in 2020, 2021. Fiji was the portal of gods. I had to clear Mount Shasta, return the root chakra back to Fiji, and activate a pyramid underwater there, and I didn't know what I was doing. They were like, why are we going to Fiji? I'm like, I don't know. And then it happened, and we're like, whoa. And those were all the female pyramids, which I didn't realize. Then I battled my twin flame union, and God said it was the deep blue sea that I was battling. And I'm like, oh, love is deeper than the deep blue sea. That's biblical, and it represents El Diablo. That's what I always call it. I don't know why. Yeah. Then more pyramids came after undoing the Holy Grail. We did the masculine pyramids. Ecuador, Congo, Colombia, and Kilimanjaro. Okay. And then we combined the masculine to the feminine, rebuilt a crystalline grid, and all these pyramids are what the sun is going to carry, and that's what 3i Atlas is helping us to reflect back to the earth. So there you have it. What is 3i Atlas? Part of all this amazing return. It's carrying what we need necessary, which was what was taken out of our atmosphere through their chemtrail poisoning. So that's what God said. So, have a beautiful day, my friends. And don't forget, everything I've shown you is right there to see. I hide nothing. I can prove everything I do and say. Authenticity, those that are truly authentic can prove everything they say. Those that aren't, can't. Back them into a corner and watch them crumble. Back me into a corner and watch what happens. I love it. So much love, my friends. See you later.